All right, let's get cooking. Welcome to the latest edition of Chin Check Sports Radio. I'm your host, JD. I want to thank you all for taking the time out to join us. And as always, we welcome any suggestions, feedback, comments, and criticisms, which improves the quality of our program, which ultimately improves your listening experience. Before we get started, I want to send all of you thank you for your tremendous support. People are slowly but surely finding out about who we are and what we do. They enjoy and respect the passion with which we speak. But as we say, we do this because we love it, as we are sharing our passions with you all, as we continue to build our listening army to take over the world. You should know by now that Chin Check Sports Radio is your go-to on YouTube during the Dallas Cowboys season and any off-season news. We are the headquarters for Dallas Cowboys review that is as fair and objective as can be. So the Dallas Cowboys 2022 Week 2, a 20-17 victory at home against the AFC Champions Cincinnati Bengals, in a game that was led by his defense. So we're going to begin with our defensive player stats. Donovan Wilson, safety, 8 total tackles, 6 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. Leighton Vander Esch, 7 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for a loss. Trevon Diggs, 6 total tackles, 5 solo. Anthony Barr, 6 total tackles, 4 solo, 1 tackle for a loss. DeMarcus Lawrence, 6 total tackles, 3 solo. Anthony Brown, 5 total tackles, 4 solo. Malik Hooker, 5 total tackles, 4 solo. Mike Parsons, 4 total tackles, 4 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss. Jordan Lewis, 4 total tackles, 1 solo. Dorrance Armstrong, 2 total tackles, 2 solo, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss. Dante Fowler, 2 total tackles, 1 solo, 1 sack. Osa Odigizua, 2 total tackles, 1 solo. Sam Williams, 1 total tackle, 1 solo. And Israel Mukwamu, 1 total tackle. The offense contributed with backup quarterback Cooper Rush, 19 of 31 attempts, 235 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. Ezekiel Elliott, 15 carries for 53 yards. Tony Pollard, 9 carries for 43 yards. On the receiving side, Noah Brown, 5 catches, 91 yards, and a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches, 75 yards. And Tony Pollard also had a rushing touchdown. Tony Pollard, 4 catches, and 55 yards. So the Dallas Cowboys trying to bounce back from their lackluster performance in Week 1. Going again with one Cooper Rush, who played well in a game against the Minnesota Vikings last season. So there was some optimism about the abilities of one Cooper Rush being able to play within the confines of the offense, to see whether the Cowboys were going to show some fight, especially on the offensive side, as compared to what they did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the Dallas Cowboys, at least for the first quarter, improved offensively. A Cooper Rush pass to one Noah Brown was the Cowboys' first offensive touchdown of the season. I thought the Cowboys called an excellent game plan, really trying to utilize the run game, really was smart play calling in the first quarter for the Cowboys, built a 14-3 lead. And you know what we say at Chin Check Radio, we do not gloss over wins, nor do we overreact to losses. It was a good solid win for the Cowboys, a good gutsy win, a decision or a game that could have gone either way, because there was clearly some red flags in that game, things that should not have happened. But all in all, a solid win for the Cowboys with their backup quarterback. If he can just keep the ship afloat during the absence of one Dak Prescott. But let's get into some things that can be improved upon and some things that were actually great. Folks, nobody wants to say this, but the Cowboys' offensive line is really holding up pretty well. I felt that the offensive line is actually doing a pretty decent job. Only allowing 1 sack. that's actually pretty good where you have a rookie left tackle, your backup guard, an unproven player in Tyler Biotish. You have an older Zach Martin and one Terrence Steele. So the Cowboys offensive line is actually holding up pretty well. And we're talking about even getting you 96 yards rushing out of your running backs. So that's actually pretty good. The line is actually holding up. The rookie Tyler Smith is holding up pretty well. Now, of course, there was some tackles for a loss, some blown up plays in the backfield, but that's to be expected really with any offensive line. But the Cowboys offensive line, that was a serious question mark going into the season, has actually been holding up pretty well so far during the first 2 games of the season. So again, I like Tyler Smith. He has a natural aggression. He has a good punch. He has an ability to get on blocks. I wish he would use his footwork more. But I really like what I'm seeing out of the Cowboys offensive line. The Cowboys defense, I mean, we talked about this. Guys have sacks after sacks. The Dallas Cowboys defense have 6 sacks. Now, let me say this, not trying to be, of course, not glossing over the win and not trying to be too optimistic or not trying to overlook. This is a bad Bengals offensive line who the week prior they gave up 7 sacks. So is it a product of the great play by the Cowboys defensive line, or is it poor play by the Bengals offensive line? That's what we do here at Chin Check Radio. We got to call it for what it is. But still, 6 sacks are 6 sacks. Again, we're calling out names of players. The Dorrance Armstrongs, who was supposed to replace a Randy Gregory. We got Dante Fowler with 1. We got Micah Parsons with 2. So that's a good thing. And we're gonna get to Micah Parsons just in a little bit. On the offensive side, now if we want to take away some things that was rather concerning, the Cowboys did absolutely nothing in the second half except the last 3 points that kicker Brett Maher made the 50-yard field goal to ultimately win the game. The defense played well. They played tough. Gave up a late touchdown. Gave up a late 2-point conversion. But we feel that the Cowboys offense, whether it was because the Bengals adjusted or safe play calling from the offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, the Cowboys did nothing in the second half of football. And because of that, especially on the offensive side, a kick here and there really could have lost the game for the Cowboys. So those are some things that can be improved upon. Again, Cooper Rush is the backup quarterback. So we're talking about played to the limits of his ability. Again, he is a backup quarterback. Again, in NFL defense, they will adjust to what they're doing. So we do have to be mindful with that. So we don't want to put too much on them. Just let them play within the confines of the offense. But just keep in mind now, you have to give your defense some points and some support because any defense can eventually wear down. And the other thing about the Cowboys defense is this. Micah Parsons, now if you take today out of the equation, the only people who got pressure last week was on Micah Parsons. And something happened during the game when he got a little bit banged up. He kind of landed awkwardly and kind of was limping gingerly. And I didn't see the same pressure or the same explosion that he had at the beginning of the game. So Micah Parsons should not be your only source of generating a pass rush. So we need other guys, again, the Dorrance Armstrongs to be much more consistent, the Tank Lawrences to be more consistent. We have a rookie Sam Williams. We need the Dante Fowler. So we're going to need some guys to step up on the defensive side to really make some things happen. And let me get on to Marcus Lawrence. Folks, we talk about attention to detail. There was a play in the game where the Cowboys forced the Bengals to punt. And the Cowboys are supposed to get the ball back. It was 4th and 4. DeMarcus Lawrence inexplicably gets a offsides penalty when you're supposed to be just looking at the ball, which maintained the Bengals possession, and the Bengals ended up getting a field goal. So you might say, well, Chin Check Radio, well, why are you tripping on that and the Cowboys still won a game? It's those little things, those attention to detail are things that, especially when your starting quarterback is out, you have to play smart football. That is just boneheaded plays. We were able to escape that day, but this is the reason why we at Chin Check Radio, why you need us here at Chin Check Radio, because we're going to tell it like it is. Those type of bonehead plays really should not be happening, especially when your starting quarterback is out. and you have to play smart football, not getting those dumb penalties on a 4th and 4 where, the momentum of the game, it could have changed. The Bengals ended up getting 3 points. You kept drives going. There was a couple other penalties that kept drives going. So those are things that the Cowboys are going to have to clean up while they try to keep the ship afloat while Dak Prescott is on the show. Now, speaking of Dak Prescott, we have to call him out on this. Now, we're not going to jump on the Twitter bandwagon that now all of a sudden Cooper Rush is better than Dak Prescott. However, I do have to raise my eyebrow to this. The same Dak Prescott who couldn't do anything with the receiving core last week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, maybe they had that great of a defense, but I got 5 catches for 91 yards out of Noah Brown and 7 catches for 75 yards out of CeeDee Lamb. So explain, how the hell is Cooper Rush able to get productivity out of the wide receivers and Dak Prescott couldn't? Just a question, just something to ponder. Why is it that Cooper Rush was able to get productivity out of the wide receivers and Dak Prescott couldn't? Again, it's only week 1 and week 2, trying to work out the kinks, so those things happen, but we just have to kind of, give Dak the side eye on this one just a little bit. The same receivers playing, same CeeDee Brown, same Noah Brown, same CeeDee Lamb, same Noah Brown, got productivity with the backup quarterback, got nothing out of Dak. Hey, Cowboys fans, let me ask y'all a question, and y'all stop the music. For those of you who watched the game today, you saw La'el Collins, and I just want to ask you one question. For all the Cowboys fans that raised holy hell about the Cowboys releasing La'el Collins and sticking with Terrence Steele and getting nothing back for La'el Collins, tell me, how do you feel after this game? We'll wait. And there you have it. So the Dallas Cowboys, they finished up 1-1. They are heading to MetLife Stadium, I believe, on a Monday night game to play the undefeated New York Giants. There are some Giants haters who are listening to this broadcast right now, and we will converse next week. And until the next time, it's Chin Check Radio, signing out.